In 1886, President Grover Cleveland dictated the Statue of Liberty in New York. A pharmacist in Atlanta invented Coca-Cola, and Native American warrior Geronimo surrendered his last fighters, to U.S. cavalry forces.
Also that year, 5 brothers struck out from their home in Ohio and founded a business here in Arizona. It still operates in much the same way it did all those years ago. It's called Babbitt Ranches, and Troy Hayden spent the day with these real-life Arizona cowboys.
How many businesses can you say are run the same way they were 135 years ago? That's what's happening with Babbitt Ranches. They work by a moral code they call the cowboy essence. I have to have this to talk about the rest of it. Men and women on horseback, driving their huge herd of cattle from the lower, warmer winter grazing area near Cedar Ranch, north of Flagstaff, to higher, cooler summer grazing areas near Slate Lake. They even cross Highway 180 here, a trip of some 6 miles, a climb of 1,500 feet. It was a heck of a ride. Why don't you come along? The day begins well before dawn on the Babbitt Ranches, and it starts with a hearty cowboy breakfast in the bunkhouse. Eggs with sausage, French toast, and strong, very strong, hot black coffee served in a tin cup. It was all prepared by a cook who's hired just for the season and eaten mostly in silence. The one thing you notice here pretty quickly, not a lot of chatter between the ranch hands. The leader stands up, and that's the signal the work has begun. The whole crew heads out. They grab their blankets, their saddles, they get their horses ready. Even the youngest members of this crew, some of them smaller than the saddles themselves, but they're all ready to work. They let me borrow a horse for the day, and I get a quick cowboy briefing.
If you tell him you want to go fast, he's going to assume you want to go really fast. And if you just tell him you don't want to, he'll do that too.
I hop on, and it's time to ride. Babbitt Ranches encompass 700,000 acres of open land, mostly north of Flagstaff. It's beautiful country. Some 8,000 head of cattle are raised here. The ranch was established back in 1886 when 5 Babbitt brothers struck out from their home in Cincinnati, Ohio, looking to make their fortune out west. And to this day, 135 years later, the ranch operates in much the same way it did back then.
It's the way I think it should be done. Or that to raise cows out like this, you have to do it this way. There's no other way to do it.
The way we're doing it today, gathering cattle from the corners of this vast ranch, herding them from their lower elevation winter grading areas up into higher elevations for summer so they can eat greener, sweeter grass. Calves are paired up with their mothers for the trip. Sometimes the little ones get confused behind trees and you have to gently guide them out. But it's amazing to ride along and nudge the herd higher and higher, hearing them call out. Clay here is the general manager of Babbitt Ranches.
You kind of have to like doing it because you'll never get rich doing it. And there's no such thing as retirement.
As we head higher and higher, we hit the pine forest. This is a little trickier as the trees get thicker and the cows and calves get a little tired. We see the San Francisco peaks in the distance, and we know we're close. Well, now we get to an interesting point in this cattle drive where Old West meets modern society. Have to drive the cattle across Highway 180 here. Have to stop traffic to do it. As we safely cross the highway and hit the home stretch of our trip, some 6 hours after we first saddled up, we have time to reflect on what the Babbitt Ranches calls the cowboy essence, a set of morals that guides this whole operation.
Is honesty. If you're honest with yourself and you're honest with everybody else, it just falls into place. Be the best that you can be every day. And so if you're honest with yourself, you will be the best you can be every day. You'll strive to be better every day. Respect, cowboy essence is a lot of respect. You respect yourself, you respect your employees, respect the people around you, and you put that in your children, have that same ethics.
To me, it's a good life. It's clean, it's honest. It's a good place to raise a family and stuff. And then besides that, you get to eat the best food produced in America or in the world, you know. So that's what it is to me.
The end of our journey is a water hole, and our horses and the cattle drink their fill. They're safe and they're surrounded by new pastures. We take a group photo and then head back to the bunkhouse for a real cowboy dinner. And I tell you, it is good, and there's a lot of it. A perfect way to end this amazing day. And I can say firsthand, That was one of the best meals I've had in months. Babbitt Ranches has a presence on social media. Look them up on Instagram. You can follow what these men and women do every day with breathtaking shots of the beautiful country they work on. Troy Hayden, Fox 10 News.